Hello everyone, hopefully you're doing well. Welcome back to the channel. Here we go with my Game Week 6 review and our Game Week 7 preview, which is going to be all rolled in with our wildcard for this season, or the first wildcard of the season. If you've been enjoying the content, make sure you like, comment and subscribe, and let's get straight into it. An absolutely abysmal week for us, 64 points. We spoke about it on the podcast. Game Week rank of 6.1 million, overall rank now of 1.8 million. We need to start making some changes. We did make one move in this game week. We went Nicholas Jackson out for Julian Alvarez. Now, everyone's spoken about the Julian Alvarez ability there against Nottingham Forest, but although the Rodri red card just wasn't ideal for us in the matchup, and then City went really defensive. Just looking at the team, it was fantastic to see Salah, Saka, Bruno all get returned at the same time. Edouard, very unlucky not to return. I think if he gets a return and a bonus point, we then start looking around the mid-70s, lows of mid-70s. We probably scrape away just over the average points, and we end up having an okay game week. The other move I was considering last week was Ben Chilwell out for a -4 for Sven Botman. Again, if I pulled the trigger on the -4, I then would have netted 8 points and been a transfer ahead this week. But look, it is what it is. It doesn't matter. The season is far from over. 1.8 million is not where we want to be right now, but we can't complain at this stage. So I have pulled the wild card trigger. This is the team. We've gone with Areola, Botman, Kabore, Trippier, Gordon, Bowen, Salah, Diaby, Son, Alvarez, and Haaland. You can see the bench there. We've got 1 million in the bank because of the equity that I've been able to get through price rises and things like that. Through the price rises that we've got, it's been very good to see that we've got enough value in this team. You can see that Botman has a flag in this position here as well. So we do have a few things that I want to consider in this team. Botman is the one big issue. Team news should be coming out in a few hours my time here, so we'll be well informed from Eddie Howe ahead of the Game Week 7 deadline. So we should be able to at least be able to make a decision on Botman now. The big decision I've got to make is, do we go Kurt Zouma or do we go with someone like a Dan Burn or a Matty Cash, because we've got the money there. I'm leaning towards going Kurt Zouma. The reason I like Kurt Zouma is he's a very, very attacking threat from corners and set pieces. I do think that this is the week to get Zouma in against Sheffield United. We saw how weak Sheffield United were against Newcastle last week at defending corners and set pieces. So we do think, well, I think that Kurt Zouma could be a very high upside player this week, also with good clean sheet potential, and a double up here with Areola would be fantastic. I have been very anti Game Week 7 double game week, but I am going to go with Kabore for two reasons. Obviously, attacking the Everton and Burnley fixtures ahead of this game week. Kabore's numbers are looking slightly better since he's been playing more minutes. And again, once this game week's passed, he's probably going to be the number 15 player in our team. We've got money in the bank. If I ever wanted to upgrade him up to a 4.5, 4.7, there's some moves we can make within this team. But what this wild card allows us to have is Trippier, Salah, Son, Haaland, all in one team. And I think we don't lose a whole lot. If I'm going to talk about the negatives of this team, it's no Man United attack and no Arsenal attack. I definitely understand that people will get in the comments and say, well, you've got no Bruno, you got no Rashford, you got no Saka, you got no Jesus. I understand that I don't have any of those players. Saka would be someone that I'd be willing to bring in around game week 12 and 13, I believe it is, when their fixtures start to turn around again. But I think for now, we're at 1.8 million. We have to start attacking the fixtures that are in front of us, but also setting a team up for success long term. So that's what this team gives us. So Trippier, Botman, hopefully it's going to be the double Newcastle defense that we can utilize to go with Kabore. But we also get Gordon, who is one suspension away from... one yellow card away from a suspension. But with Gordon's numbers, he's got 1.6 XG, 1.2 XA per 90, 0.3 XG is very solid for a winger of his price. Same with the 0.2 XA at 5.6 million at 5% owned. And with Harvey Barnes getting injured, he's just someone that, you know, you could easily rotate in with Archer, Stupinian, Udoji, Kabore, depending on fixtures. We know Newcastle's fixtures are very, very solid. You know, he goes Burnley, West Ham, Crystal Palace, Wolves, Arsenal, Bournemouth, Chelsea, Man United, Everton, Spurs, Fulham, Luton, Nottingham Forest, all the way up to game week 20. I think there's plenty of opportunities to be able to play Gordon amongst that. You know, he's not going to be the fantastic option every week, but for 5.6 million, I think you don't want to look much further. Another big point people are looking at is, do I go Bowen or do I go James Ward-Prowse? Here on screen, I've got their comparative data. What we can see is that Jared Bowen is just such more an attacking threat than James Ward-Prowse. We should know that anyway because James Ward-Prowse is predominantly a creative threat. But I think in this situation, when you're not needing to worry about budget, I think you just need to take the player with the attacking return potential. Although Ward-Prowse has been a fantastic option, I'm not saying he's not a fantastic option. And if you can't get to Bowen, then I think Ward-Prowse is a good option for your teams. But I would be going after Jared Bowen if you can, because he's just got that goal threat that Ward-Prowse doesn't have. We get to keep Mohamed Salah. Again, fantastic fixtures here for Liverpool. Definitely looking at getting a second Liverpool asset in at some point, potentially from game week 9 to target that Everton, Forest, Luton, Brentford sort of month of fixtures. Even with Man City, then it goes Fulham, Sheffield, Crystal Palace, Man United, Arsenal, Burnley. The fixtures are fantastic for Liverpool. I just want some extra weeks to find out who's locked in, who's going to play in those positions. Is it going to be Darwin Núñez? Will it be Jota? Ideally, you want to be picking a striker. So for me, you know, Darwin Núñez is probably the number one option. I just don't think Gakpo is really usable for fantasy. Then we get Diaby. Everyone knows how good Aston Villa are attacking-wise, and these are some fantastic fixtures for Diaby. Again, playing second striker to Ollie Watkins has probably underperformed a little bit. I think he's looked better than what his 32 points suggest, but with 0.24 XG and 0.16 XA, again, it's slightly lower than Anthony Gordon, but at 6.7 million, he's playing a lot of minutes as well. I think for Aston Villa, that's exactly what you want to see. So very happy with getting Diaby. Then we get Heung-min Son in. Again, his numbers since he's gone up front are starting to look better. He's a big game player. I'm not that fazed by the Liverpool fixture at home because we cannot defend to save our lives. So I think Spurs will score in this game. And if Spurs are going to score, it's going to come through the likes of Heung-min Son. So then you get this big fixture run all the way through. Pretty much, I'd say, to sort of game week 2021. But again, you can just ride him for most of the season as long as he doesn't get an injury and he stays in the number 9 role. So again, very happy to be a Son owner as long as he's playing in the number 9. His price point gives us an opportunity to pivot, whether you want to go down to a Luis Diaz, whether you want to get a Man United attacker in if something happens. So I've got ways to move around this midfield with very different price points. We've got Bowen in there at the 7.1 bracket. We've got Salah, who's a really expensive premium. Diaby gives us good leverage. With 1 million in the bank, we can turn Gordon into a Matoma, who's someone I'm looking at, and then Son gives us options to go up or down as well. So very, very balanced midfield for me. Then up front, Alvarez, Haaland. I'm backing in the double City attack. Although Alvarez didn't get the returns against Nottingham Forest, you look at Wolves, Arsenal, Brighton, Man United. Man City assets for me are just fixture proof. I don't see fixtures in there where they're going to struggle. Yes, you know, they're going to drop points here and there and things aren't going to go their way. But when you're playing a long game with Man City, I think you back the quality of the team over that. So that is my game week 7 team selection. I don't think I'm going to change anything in this wild card except for potentially Botman, depending on the news that we get. Let me know what your wild card teams are in the comments below. Let me know what your teams are in the comments below as well. And best of luck for game week 7. And I'll see you guys next week for our game week 8 preview and review.